Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon. It's anime. Yeah.
That was a good power up.
That was a good power up. Welcome to another episode of AnimeSHUN. I'm in a good mood for some reason.
Yeah,
you went for it that time.
you were in that. Like that was, how you feel today,
I
Keenan?
feel good, man. I don't know. I'm in a good mood. We got Brennan here.
Yo.
We got Rob here.
What's up, everybody?
We got Keenan here, myself, and no whole ass Ice. He's not here today.
Who is
Empty seat.
Empty seat. And Ice.
Yeah, we call him empty seat, right?
Yeah.
And this is later not here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's either, yeah. I mean, he's been on time pretty much. He's been pretty good.
He's been
at that.
better, but he has a reputation now because of consistently being.
Yeah, the rep's going to stay with him until he consistently, But this is an animation podcast where we review anime. We have one-offs. We talk our shit. We have debates. That's what we do on this show, man. What you going to say, Brandon?
I have a couple things. First thing I was going to say was Ice ain't shit because he actually has what he called PTO, which I believe means paid time off right now, which means he's not working. So why isn't he here? Anybody know?
I actually have no idea.
I don't know, but I have a hint.
All right, well, we'll leave it at that. That's some hoe shit.
Yeah,
my second announcement I have is that I have changed, gentlemen.
You've changed.
I feel like I'm evolving.
Okay.
Evolving?
Like
into what?
Possibly devolving. You can make an argument either way.
Diglett to what's the evolve to
Doug Trio.
Doug Trio? You evolved to Doug Trio?
Oh, I see.
I have purchased my first manga.
Wow.
Okay.
Vigilantes.
This is My Hero Academia Vigilantes. Apparently, this is the story of like people who don't have like powerful quirks because in the show we're following the top class of the top school for quirks. So this is like the people that like toe the line.
I gotcha.
Kind of thing. So it's supposed to be really good. There's like 6 volumes, I think.
Okay.
So I bought the first 2 volumes because I went into a comic book. I was at Universal Studios and I went to like that comic book store.
I know the one, yeah.
And I met this guy. I think his name was Sam. Oh, Sam. I think his name was Sam. I kind of want at some point maybe bring him possibly to the podcast because you meet somebody and you're like, yo, I respect your nerd.
Yeah.
Like he put me up on a lot of shit.
Okay.
Because I was looking at this. That's what I was holding when he walked up to me, and I was looking at this. I'm like, what is this? And he was like, oh. You're a hero of My Hero Academia. You're a fan of My Hero Academia. And I was like, yeah, but I don't recognize any of these characters. I was like, except for in the background, I see those guys. And he's just like, oh, yeah, so this is different. He's like, this is still in that based in the same world, but it's like the underbelly to that world. He's like, it's really good.
That's cool.
So I bought it. But either way, I thought you guys should know is that, a lot of people in the group chat and otherwise have been giving me a lot of shit that I don't read manga.
At all. You don't read it at all.
No, never have read manga. I've read comic books a lot, which is
that's where I grew up on. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody listening, you want to hear about the difference between anime and manga and what those mean, we actually did a whole episode on that. It's really, really good. But manga means comic book in Spanish.
We didn't do a whole episode on those.
Japan.
We did.
Yeah, no, but that's just one of the things we
talked about. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, this guy's kind of got like OG Daredevil vibes with the the headband on.
Yep.
Looks like he's kicking ass in here.
The kid, another All Might fan, because that's an All Might hoodie.
Yeah,
I figured. Yeah,
it's All Might hoodie. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
All Might hoodie. That's kind of tight.
Yeah.
Little
thing.
And I look at it. And also, I mean, because I have the Manga Zone app. I forgot somebody in the group chat actually put it in the group chat. That's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I finished up not finished up Demon Slayer because it's still going, but I caught up on Demon Slayer manga, and I started reading Villain Saga. It's a little slow right now. Where I'm at anyways, a little slow. And I wanted to kind of spoil this for myself, catch up on My Hero.
Right.
But I gotta say one more thing before we move on. And in the words of Ice McGowan,
oh God, why do you have to do this?
Fucking anime never. I say it because I know for him that's a thing for him. Like that's a big thing for him. I think that was his I don't know if I'm using the right word, but that's his moniker stamp on the podcast that he wants to leave forever. So it's like one of those things like people know him for saying that.
Yeah.
That's
I think actualization. He's just trying to make it manifest. And I get it. Honestly.
I mean, the thing is, I think people are starting to know him for saying that, but I don't think that's what people know Ice for. Let's keep it real.
No, I agree.
Ice is the king of illogical arguments, contradictions.
You know what's funny? He goes, I was listening to one of our other podcasts. I was just cutting up clips, right? And he was just like, I came with all facts. I was like, you came with no facts almost every time.
Yeah, he's
and it's just like,
tough.
that's why I said this is why I'm not going to debate you like that for the most part. I know Brennan just loves to be argumentative at times.
Brennan takes the bait.
Oh,
He
yeah.
does take
He
the
loves
bait.
it, too.
I like to bury people.
Yeah.
Well, that's his thing. So, yeah, man, Cowboy Bebop, episodes 5 through 8.
Yeah.
So we're doing this week.
Another 4-episode stretch.
Yeah, another 4 episodes. I hope y'all.
I also talked to Ice about his rating. You guys saw that he put that in the group chat.
Yeah,
right?
he said because we all were in like the low to mid 70s.
7,200 to 7,400. You both
Yeah.
said 7,200.
Yeah,
I think I
72.
said 7,400.
Ice
Ice
came in.
was-
Yeah, he came in with a low ball.
4,400.
4,400.
Yeah.
And he thinks that we're crazy for liking this show, even though this is easily considered one of the greatest anime ever by anybody who watches anime. It's
And he
ranked.
said it was dope at one point, I believe.
Yeah, because I this was my pick. I picked this show, and I remember I asked you guys if you'd seen it because I know
Yeah.
you guys have seen a lot more than I have, and I wanted to pick something that we all could experience for a first time or like watching the whole thing together. I figure we're gonna have better conversations that way. So I don't remember if he said he had seen it all,
Yeah.
but maybe that's why his rating's a little lower. Is like watching it for the first time, at least like I am. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
But maybe if you know where it's going, it's different. I don't know, like on a rewatch.
But my thing is like this is why his inconsistency to me, and maybe he's doing it like I said, Ice's logic to me, I feel like he has a method for his madness, and it's to troll. So I was like, all right, if these are the creators of Samurai Champloo, why the fuck would he give this a high rating?
That's what I said in the last
fair.
episode.
Yeah,
is
there's-
I was just
there's
like,
no way
well,
he's
we
a
know
good-
Ice is gonna hate this because the guy who directed this is the guy who directed Samurai Champloo.
He can't even do it if he wanted to.
No, he can't like this. Like his physical being will not allow him to like this show.
Even though it gives me more Trigun vibes than Samurai Champloo vibes.
well, he didn't like Trigun either. So for him, it's like it's the baby
He
of
picked,
Samurai
Trigun.
Champloo.
He picked Trigun, and he did like Trigun.
He did?
Yes. I wasn't the one that hated Trigun. I said Trigun is called
Oh.
Trash Gun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, he picked.
And
he
he
picked
defends
Trigun.
it. like-
Wait, he didn't like Trigun? Oh, wait, he liked Trigun, picked Trigun, and doesn't like Bebop? This is way better than Bebop. I mean, way better than Trigun.
That's what I'm saying. His logic makes zero sense. That's why I don't debate him on stuff, because it's like 2 + 2 is 6 to him.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to somebody that 2 + 2 is 6, there's no point of arguing with this person. It's like you just be like, all right, no problem, you're right, man. Or you just be like, all right, bro, like I'm not gonna argue with you because this is what it is. But that's what I said. I was watching this. I was like, nothing adds up to what you're saying. That's why you can't say you drop facts. Like you give. You know.
Yeah, we'll see where if he comes in for any of these episodes. We'll see how he tries to defend himself.
I mean, he's gonna defend himself with his logic, but then it's just not. And then we're gonna say, and he's gonna be like, but how? And we're gonna give how, and then he's gonna be like. But how?
Yeah, I mean, because not to give the spoilers of a ranking, but I'm still enjoying the show. I'm having a good time watching it. And I mean, they're all like little standalone episodes. Your mission of the week. We follow these bounty hunters around.
What was the name that Cameron said that is? Is a serial, or what is it called?
Serialization. So,
Serialization. I had never heard that term.
yeah. So and Cameron, run me through this again. Like, there's serialized, and then what's the other one? Because there's the two different. I'm fucking up. I'm fucking up hard right now.
Yo, he really thought. Then it's like the fun part about Rob's voice is that he always sounds exactly like he knows what he's saying.
Confident,
So, and
that's what it
that
is.
confidence, like the way he came in, I was like, I'm about to learn something. And he just-
Episodic. That's the other one. Serialization and episodic. So
good job, Rob. He looked it up. Just
I had
for
to
the
do a
record.
little Google foo. So the difference between that serialization, I mean, that's a lot of the shows we watch where you're like, you've got an overall story that you're building towards, where episodic is more like a Simpsons or something, where like the characters,
Yeah.
but or like a sitcom, like the situations don't really matter
From the previous episode.
to the previous episode. So I think this is what Cameron was saying is maybe this is a little bit more episodic, where
Yes.
the episodes kind of stand on their own.
Yeah.
You don't have to have seen everything leading up to
No.
the episode that you're watching to understand who these characters are and what's at stake in the story, because they're all sort of compartmentalized week to week of just like, all right, here's these guys going out, mission of the week, they're going to go tackle the next bounty, and let's see how they do. That's why I said it reminds me a lot of Mandalorian, the Star Wars show that just came out on Disney, where it's a lot of like, that one has some storylines that are carrying over throughout, and this show I think does have a little bit of that too, but mostly you're just dealing with, all right, I'm a bounty hunter, this is my mission this week.
Good. So it's not like math. Like math, you have to remember shit from when you first started doing math.
Exactly.
To know math. But you're like, all right, I'm in my third year. Yeah, I'm in my third year of college. You remember when you were in the 9th grade, you had to do this particular formula? I'm like, no, motherfucker, I don't.
All right, so we're going to build upon the quadratic equation today.
So
now it's actually aquatic, whatever it's here.
I'm tapped out.
But like, think of a serialized show as like a One Piece or like a Bleach or something, where if you get dropped in at episode 500, you're going to be like, I don't know what the fuck is happening right now.
Which I actually wish One Piece was, so I can watch it.
Yeah.
So, also, I like to point out that I think Cameron had a visceral reaction to the word quadratic equation. I looked over and his head is just shaking, like, oh,
shiver went down his spine.
Sorry about that, Cam. That looked painful.
All right, man. So we're gonna jump into episodes 5 through 8. Go ahead, Rob, lead yourself.
Yeah. So episode 5, called Ballad of the Fallen Angels. This one starts out with characters we've never seen before. It seems like these two sort of Yakuza type organizations, these two crime syndicates, are signing an agreement, forging a peace between the two of them. The leader of the Red Dragon syndicate, led by Mao, this guy named Mao, he's putting like his blood thumbprint on the thing, be like, no, this is an unbreakable deal, like burying the hatchet. The other group is called White Tiger Crime Syndicate. They're just like, all right, we're about to put this all to bed. Squash the beef kind of stuff.
I can relax now.
And as the White Tiger crew is riding off in their ship, and Mao's just like, finally, like, we can have an age of peace. The ship fucking blows up.
Yeah.
With all the White Tiger people inside of it. And he's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, shit starts going down in his building. Like, it's a betrayal on the deepest level.
Yeah.
This dude with like a crow on his shoulder and white hair, coming out of like a Final Fantasy game or some shit, walks up and he's just like,
never trust a dude with a crow on his shoulder.
No,
never. Crows and crow mean death, something like that.
I mean, it could. I mean, a group of crows is called a murder of crows. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
Shit.
They're called a murder of crows. So if you see a group of crows somewhere, that's a murder.
It's gone. That's what Mel Gibson should have said instead of saying, what he said. He should have said a murder of crows.
I mean, he said a lot of shit he shouldn't have said.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But yeah. So this guy who we find out later his name is Vicious. This guy with the crow. He's just like telling this old man, like, you got weak, basically. And Mao was just saying, like, this never would have happened if Spike was here. And he just kind of smiles at that and slashes this dude's throat.
Man,
that crow sound, bro.
Yeah.
Like just the sound design of this show. Like even like this whole episode. I think it's really interesting, the names of these episodes, because this one's called Ballad of the Fallen Angels.
Ballad of the Fallen Angels. Yeah.
That's the name of it. Like the next episode name is something like, it's also like a music-based title. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, music definitely big on this show.
This episode was mad dramatic.
Yeah. So back on the Bebop, the ship, Jet and Spike are, they see this bounty come up for Mao. And at this point, I guess the news isn't out wide that Mao's dead. And Jet's telling Spike, like, hey, this is a big bounty. We could get paid on this. And Spike's just like, I'm not really, I don't want this job.
Yeah.
And Jet's kind of just like, what the hell's going on? Like, why don't you want this? It's good money. This guy's big. We could probably get information on him easy. Why wouldn't you want this? And he's just like, all right, well, like, what happened to your arm? Like, you want to start asking questions. Like,
come at me.
We basically see a little bit of their relationship where, like, these guys aren't friends, so they don't know each other's backstories. They have an agreement of
they're
just
comrades. Like they're like,
this is how men and women argue when you're in a relationship. It's kind of like, you say something. Well, that's why you got a small dick. Yeah, hey, motherfucker, where'd that come from? We talking about the groceries.
Wait, that's how women come back to you, huh, Keenan?
No, not me in general.
Oh, no, it's cool, man. No, it's cool, bro. Like
I'm saying, no, I never had that argument, but I'm saying in general, women like
that came out quick, didn't it?
You just cut deep. That's
all.
No,
because I'm saying I got it off from Bill Burr. Bill Burr talks about how women argue. They don't. When you start arguing the point, they just deviate and they say something crazy about you.
Oh yeah, they could have said anything.
No, Spike went right for the jugular.
That's always the harshest thing. Like, I always remember every time, like when we were kids, a girl don't even got to see your
That's
stuff.
why your mama don't love you.
Yeah, they go to that, or they'll to defile a man and just say, oh, you got a small dick.
Well, I knew what you were doing, but I just couldn't let that go.
Rip your heart out and show it to you. Just like, no, this is fuck you. We're gonna fight. Like I'm gonna go hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely been there before.
That's what it
Rob,
was.
Rob has been seen like he knows some of those.
Oh, I know
arguments
you
I've
do
been in
that,
before.
Brandon, for sure.
No, in the sense of like I'm just like, hey, let's have this logical like conversation about this, and they just flip it to like, but you done did this,
Bro.
and I'm like,
I literally saw you and Ice remember when we got into like not really an argument, but we talking about, he was like, yeah, man, Brennan, make sure you call those people that come to our show tomorrow or whatever like that. And you're like, motherfucker, they won't be a show if it wasn't for me and this bitch. And I was just like, I knew that was going there.
Yep.
I knew it was going there.
But okay, the thing is, I understand where you're coming from. But did I unnecessarily escalate the situation is the question.
No.
Because what we were talking about is unnecessarily escalating the situation. Ice was out of line. He got put back in line.
Okay.
So that's exactly what happens in this situation.
Oh, the transition.
Your poke ass little metal arm with your fucking.
He's just like, yeah, so, I mean, you got questions you don't want to talk about. I got shit I don't want to talk about. All right, it's personal. I'm out of here. And he gets on his ship, and Spike's just like, dude, like, or Jet's telling him, like, hey, man, like, I'm not going to come after you. He's like, oh, that's fine by me. Gets in his jet and just takes off. And Faye walks in the middle of that, just like, oh, we got a bounty going on? And
Like, hi, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jet's just like, no, get the fuck out of here. I'm out of this. You're obnoxious. And just, like, takes
She's
off.
such a greedy ass.
Yeah, and so she sees the the 28 million Wooloo bounty up on this dude, and is just like, oh, like, this is who we're going after. He's just like, nah, you walked into the wrong situation. She walks out, but as she's left there in the room alone, they get a message sent to him, which is a lead on how to find this guy. Basically, he's got tickets to this opera. So Faye takes that and is just like, all right, fine. These guys want to cut me out. Like
28 million's off of me.
Exactly. So she takes the job on her own, goes and parks her car, like, takes her ship and hands the keys to the valet. He's just like, don't scratch that shit. And walks up, and the guy's
was
just
boss
like,
how she did that. She was like, where's your ticket? She's like, they told me I didn't have to have one because I'm here to see the man.
gives him the eyes, just like, oh yeah, you know who I'm here to see.
Park this shit.
Yeah. Park this shit. And does she have any bounty hunter skills?
I mean, we haven't seen her as a
yet?
bounty hunter. I mean, it seems like
Dangerous move, man.
her reputation is more as a gambler, and apparently
seems
not a very
sly.
good one
Yeah,
because
she's trash.
lost a lot of money.
She
She's
seems
been
just
ass.
really sly and well armed, is what I say she is.
I feel like she's really good at like just getting out of shit.
I think she makes money and
getting
then
into
loses
shit.
money, and that's
That's her-
basically what she's good at.
Yeah. Her
making
skill.
and then losing money.
That's her quirk.
Yeah. So she ends up walking up to this box seat, and she's just like, oh, I guess this is the place, like, gets let in. Turns out it's a trap the whole time. They knew they were
Yeah.
coming. They're just like, oh, Faye Valentine, like, we looked you up. We know who you are. Why don't you have a seat
Yeah.
next to
Yeah.
Mr. Mao? And she takes a seat next to the boss, who we all know at this point is dead. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
she takes a look over, and sure enough, he's sitting there with his fucking throat cut open.
And don't say a fucking word. If
Yeah.
they told her, but not say shit during this opera. Opera's just so boring, dog. Have you ever been to an opera before?
I have not. I don't think it would be a good time for me.
I
personally.
went. I actually wouldn't call it boring, to be
No?
honest. No,
You had a
Really?
good time?
no, it was.
Only like 3-4 hours.
It's the one I went to was probably like 3. But it's split up. There's a break. But for me, an opera is like an emotional experience. Have you ever gone and seen an orchestra play?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
So it's like add just a person that can sing on registers that you just don't necessarily understand normally.
but for 3 hours?
Well, it's telling a story though, so it's like oh, I wouldn't watch this movie for 3 hours. It's like watching a movie. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not
It's
like
like
watching a movie. No
well,
way.
until you do it, I'd appreciate it if you didn't judge it.
Well, I'm gonna judge
You
it
know what I'm
because it's
saying?
not like fucking a movie. Like
Well, I'm saying though, like I'm saying I've been to the
Avengers,
movie.
motherfucker. There's explosions in her voice.
I've been to movies that are 3 hours that felt like 8 hours, and I've been to movies that are 3 hours that felt
True.
like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying, depending on the opera that you see, you have a different experience, just
Was
like
it-
a movie.
Was it in English? Was it in Italian?
The one I saw was in English. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
like
Um,
English or English, like the English.
It was like English. Yeah,
Okay.
it was,
I still feel like I need subtitles for that. Like they need to have like some sort of LED screen like going across the bottom.
Well, I
telling me
mean,
what these
like, for
people
me,
are
it's-
saying.
like I've been to plays, I've been to operas, and I've been to orchestras. And for
Uh-huh.
me, like just the live music experience of having a full set band itself, like an orchestra,
Yeah.
is for me, when done right, is an emotional experience. Like I don't know how somebody can listen to like some of the greats orchestras and like literally sit there and pay attention to it and not feel.
Yeah.
And for me, that taught me a lot about how important vibrations are in our lives. And things
oh,
like
absolutely.
that.
I get that.
You know, so for me, that's what I'm saying. So the opera is just doing that, but then adding a human element to the orchestra. You know what I'm saying? So like that's all I'm saying is that it might not be for everybody.
Yeah.
But for me, I thought the exact same thing you're thinking right now before I did it, and then I did it, and I was like, I would definitely do this.
Let me ask you one more quick question. How many of us was there?
How many black people?
Yeah,
I'd say probably about like. And of course, I was looking for it.
of course.
I
you
was
have to.
actually surprised. I
Really?
would say maybe like somewhere around like 10% of the audience.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is
it
it
was-
in L.A.?
Yeah, it was in L.A. And the other thing, it was in Pasadena. And
That's what I mean. Yeah.
it was in Pasadena. But also, I was surprised at how many people in the orchestra were like black. You know, so it was like a 10% on both sides. Like I was just like, oh, okay, we out here. I expected to show up and just be like, it's gonna be a bunch of like, I want to say uppity. I do.
Yeah. I mean, I played in the band, so I get I get the musical aspect of it. I played in the band for like 4 or 5 years.
It was just the whole experience is much more diverse. There's a lot of like Hispanic people there, a lot of like, there's obviously majority white people, but it wasn't like I thought it was gonna be where I was gonna walk in and I was gonna be the only person that was not white there.
Yeah.
Like it was all over the place. There was like kids there, there was like every color of the rainbow, every age you can imagine. Like there's a lot of old people, but there's a lot of regular people. It was just like regular people, like people in their, like every age range was represented.
Yeah.
For me, that's what I was like. What is this? Like, how is this diverse grouping of people being brought together for such a thing? Like this is just old white people stuff, right?
I feel like that was definitely old white people stuff, and that it's like I feel like everybody like this is real music. You know how you like the hip hop is our music.
Yeah.
This is what you call real music, huh? This is young whippersnappers.
Dabbing like a single tear with like their pocket square. Just
it's like watching it in their monocles.
With their pockets
Well, for me, like I said, like the vibe that I went to, I don't think it was like maybe necessarily wasn't a traditional opera.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll say is the vibe that I had was like, yo, like we want to go have a really cool experience this afternoon. It was in the afternoon.
okay.
And yeah, it was like did it, and then we left, and everybody was just like super cool about it. I didn't feel any of the snobbiness that I thought I would experience. Like all the things that I thought, which I'm starting to realize, I think I was taught by like cartoons. If you really think about it,
true.
it's like,
or movies in that sense. with
yeah,
the
it's like
opera.
we've been taught all of this through the media
Wait.
of like how they depict operas.
And one more quick one.
Yeah.
What did you wear? Could you wear a hoodie?
I was just rocking a t-shirt and like I wasn't dressed up.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't dressed up. Like
That's
I said, it was
another
like
thing,
it was
too,
like a Sunday afternoon.
I'm not a suit guy like that, so like that's all what I always think about too. Like I gotta wear a fucking tux to this.
You know what's
thing.
funny? Like I normally look for excuses to wear suits and stuff.
Really?
Because the thing is like
dressing up.
one is like it's like everybody knows if you're like, hey, I need to look my best right now. What's the best you're gonna look?
Suit.
Some people might rock Timbs and some jeans. Some people might rock a button up. For me, if you put me in like a 3-piece suit, I cannot be fucked with.
Oh, you get cocky. You don't even get confident. You get cocky.
No, I'm saying like I literally look like a whole different person. Like it's not even like my swag changed or anything like that. Like one day I'll just walk in on one of these podcasts. I'm just gonna rock a suit, and you guys are gonna be like, okay, we get it.
No, we're gonna roast your ass.
You might
come
roast
on-
me.
If
The
you
thing
come
is,
on
you
this
could try.
you can go on this anime podcast with a full fucking 3-piece suit on,
But to
and you
prove
ain't
the
got
point.
nothing after.
To prove the point of what I just talked about, I'm only doing it for this conversation.
After almost 2 years of doing this podcast, you are absolutely going to get roasted if you come in a
Yes.
suit, no matter how
Yes.
good you look.
I don't
That's
care how
absolutely
good
gonna
you. It
happen.
means nothing to us. At that
You know,
point.
it's funny that you would say that of all people, Rob.
I'm just saying,
Because
dude.
he probably like that's you. This for what?
Get back to the episode, man.
All right, so Faye, anyway, having a much worse time at the opera than Brennan did, sitting next to a dead man. And she's just like, oh, what the hell's going on? And the dude introduces himself. Vicious is right there. He's just like, keep quiet. Don't make a scene. Things can go a lot worse for you. And so anyway, we catch up with, I almost called him Vash because I was telling Brennan I thought this was fucking Spike's Trigun episode where
Straight
he's,
up.
Getting involved with his past and his knives character, which, definitely feels like that's who Vicious is for him. But Spike catches a couple kids trying to steal some porno magazines from the corner shop, stops him. But as he stops him, the woman who runs this place, Annie, she's just like, Spike? Like, I thought you were dead, man. So they end up catching up. Turns out, we've heard a little bit of Spike's past that he died, in the past, but for some woman seems to be tied to this. So he's clearly tied in with this old crime syndicate, this guy Mao. It turns out that Spike owes him some sort of debt. That saved his life. Maybe he's the guy that got him out of the life or something like that, helped him escape.
I kind of imagine that he was like, that's how Spike grew up, was under this guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I imagine.
Kinda
Like, that's
raised
why he
him.
can fight. That's why he's like street smart and savvy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And everything that's going on with Faye right now seems to be a trap that this vicious guy is trying to track down Spike.
Who seems to be his brother.
Yeah. Or some
Brother.
yeah.
I'm doing air quotations
his,
right
his
now.
homie. Yeah,
Whoosh,
that,
whoosh.
that are tight, yeah.
So Spike is talking with this woman, Annie, and she's just telling him, like, Mao's dead. Like, she knows the truth. Like, he still thinks Mao's out there, that there's a, some sort of bounty on his head. And I think we see Jet at this point also kind of doing his information hacking skills, getting into the system. They're all finding out that, this bounty is not what it seems.
Yeah.
Mao's gone at this point already. And Spike's like, yeah, I kind of figured. And, he's basically like, she pours one out for Mao, and she's about to drink it for him. And Spike's like, no, like, I'm gonna take this drink for Mao.
Pour one out for the
that,
homies.
Exactly. He's about to make sure that he gets Vicious gets his just comeuppance. So Annie hands him like a gun and some bullets, and is just like, you're gonna need this. And Spike goes back to the ship, and he's loading up on some grenades, and Jet finally finds him, and he's just like, tells him, hey, this guy's dead. I don't know what he meant to you. Clearly, there's some shit going on with you. And Spike's just, you're walking into a trap if you try to continue get down this road. And Spike's just like, yeah, I know, and I'm going because I gotta settle the debt that I owe this guy. And Jet tries to talk him out of him, tell him like, I lost. He tries to connect with him, like, I lost this arm through being headstrong, and which what you're being right now. Something bad could happen to you. And while they're having this argument, TV comes on, turns Faye's all tied up, definitely doing the Samurai Champloo girl got kidnapped sort of thing. Now we got to go save her. And she's just like, hey, so Vicious is at the cathedral, says you know where that would be. And if you don't show up, they're going to kill me. So come help me out. And Jet's ready to just like, nah, you got yourself. Yeah. You got yourself into the situation.
And it's like, I feel Jet. But as a person that has a conscience, I'm just like, you stupid motherfucker.
Yeah,
I gotta go get your ass.
And that's kind of where he's at this point. He's still just like, nah, I'm not getting involved with all this. Like, Spike, if you want to get, like, if this is your suicide mission, man. Like, you go do your thing. So Spike goes to take off, not for her. He basically says, like, I'm not coming to rescue you. I'm coming there to settle a score. And so he gets to the cathedral and sees Vicious there, and they talk some shit, and they're just like, well, we got your girl here, so unless you put the gun down, like, we're gonna kill her right now. And Spike, he draws down, puts a bullet between that dude's eyes.
Yo,
shit starts to pop off.
In the words of Kevin Harlan, right between the eyes.
Spike didn't even hesitate, fam.
Bro, that was gangsta. This episode was honestly running mad slow to me. I was like low key lagging it. I was in it.
I loved it because like I love it when you have like the art, like just the little frames that they were showing, like to build up everything, like the shots of the crow every time somebody got killed and all this kind of stuff. I was like, they're building something here. And I really loved this episode in particular. I was telling Rob, I love the direction of this episode. Yeah, like how this episode was directed. I was just like, this is a masterpiece because of the name of it and how it plays out, and just the story and how much story was in it, in the sense of like how much we learned about Spike, how much we learned about Jet Black. You know what I'm saying? It's like I felt like there was just so much happening in this episode, and we even learned a lot about whatever her name is,
Faye.
We even learned in the sense of like what her life is like and what she does when she has opportunity. You're like, but we haven't gotten there yet. But
how she likes to scam folks.
Yes.
So yeah, no, shit starts going off immediately in the church. Spike is in a full-on gun battle at this point. Faye's just running for cover, trying not to get hit. Yeah. And Spike is taking.
That was smart. Because normally girls are like, oh, let me stay around and maybe I can help.
She's like street smarts to her.
Yeah, she's like, I need to get out of here because I'm not going to help anybody.
Unnecessary anime titty jiggle.
It's like seriously like Dead or Alive volleyball level at this point.
Yo, she took a step and it was just like, it is back. I'm like, fam, that was so unnecessary.
I'm disappointed because I feel like I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah, it was in full
It was
effect
very noticeable.
It's every time she's on screen. Like Faye definitely brings more to the table than that, but she's absolutely sexualized on this show.
Oh, 100%. I agree with that.
That's just. But I mean, she uses it as a weapon. I mean, I guess you can make that argument that's. She uses it, she tries to make that her power, and sometimes some good effect, sometimes. But she calls up Jet and is just like, yo, like Spike's in trouble. We need your help right now. And, Jet's on the ship trying to take care of his bonsai trees. And she's like, shit. All right, I guess I'll go. So he, at the end of the day, does end up trying to help his buddies out, and he's coming in with the shit.
The traditional Japanese things, like like when a master or whatever has the beads that they're under the waterfall and they break because their student has gotten killed or hurt or something like that. Same thing happens with bonsai trees. It's like you're doing it, and then you cut off a branch, and it's like, oh dang. Normally that symbolizes something. That happened when Spike got shot.
Yeah, because Spike is running up the stairs, still, like I said, taking people out, but he does catch a bullet, like in a pretty, like it's a solid shot, like center mass. ass.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He got hit. He got hit.
He been taking some damage, bro.
He did.
Yeah.
But he gets to the top of the stairs, and he and Vicious have their moment. Vicious has got his sword, and Spike's got his gun, and the two of them are like, drawn down on each other, and they basically exchange a few words. Spike's obviously pissed that he killed their father figure, Mao. And Vicious tells him, like, I did it because he lost his fangs. This old man got weak, and clearly you need to have that killer instinct. The same blood runs in both of us.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. That's why you came to this. And Spike tells him, like, nah, I don't have that blood anymore. And the two of them, like, he slashes Spike with his sword. Spike shoots him. And the two of them kind of recoil for a minute, and then Vicious just grabs Spike by the face, and throws him out the fucking stained glass window.
First of all,
But
who
always
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna continue the story, but
No, I was gonna be like, bro, who has the fucking strength?
That's
Brennon,
crazy.
Like Brennon,
Vicious does.
Bro,
I guess so.
I can't grab Brennon by his face. Whether like even if he was like a 12, like he has to be like a 3-year-old for me to do something like that.
Yeah, but if like an NFL lineman walked in here right now, they could grab us by the face and throw us out the window.
Not that easy. Like there's a dude that I shoot sketches with. He's a wrestler, and he has to still go to pick me up. He ain't just going like.
So
bitch.
how big is he though? Like is he like 6'9", 350?
He's about like 6'5", I would say like 260, maybe 270. He's a big motherfucker.
That's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
Even still, always watch Spike's hands.
Yeah, because as he's falling out the window, fucking Vicious is like, thinks he got his win. And he turns around. There's the fucking grenade with the pin out right behind him. And Spike is falling in slow motion. And, there's kind of this, like, this song that's going on. We see
The
these
Ballad of the
flashbacks.
Fallen Angel.
This is the moment as he's falling out the window. And we
sad-ass music, bro.
It really was. Yeah.
I thought it was dope, man.
I was rewatching it this morning. Andre's just like, what is this is like scary. Like, what's going on?
It was kind of a horror episode.
It was a
bit.
horror, like, because remember they walking like to like a castle, pretty much. It seemed like.
Well, I mean, even
that
if you
whole
think about
thing.
it, like if you take this episode from like Faye's perspective, like think about what her experience was. Like she walked in, like she got immediately put a gun on her back, and then she's watching a guy with his throat cut out. She's watching an opera next to him, and then it's just like, why does this guy standing next to me have a crow on his shoulder?
Yeah.
It's like it had horror hints to it. For
Creepy
sure.
vibes
Yeah.
for sure. And so as Spike is falling, he has that, like, life flashes before his eyes kind of moment. We see, with the past that he's running away from, and we see that he and Vicious used to fight back to back together. There's this other girl that maybe there was a love triangle going on between the three of them.
Dun-dun-dun.
We see
Here
moments
they go.
between, the girl and both Spike and Vicious, and it kind of culminates with more flashbacks to another cathedral or another moment where Spike got into the gunfight, and that was probably the moment where he quote unquote died and disappeared from this family, but he was nursed back to health by this woman who was humming for him, and he tells her not to stop.
Keep singing with that beautiful voice.
Oh, this episode ends so funny. Oh man.
And
So
then-
yes, may I?
Yeah.
Please go for it.
Yo, so they pretty much do like a parallel cut to showing him like all bandaged up back then to him bandaged up now, and then he like kind of is coming to, and he can hear the humming again, and he opens his eyes, and it's Faye.
Yeah.
And she's humming or whatever, and then like his mouth is bandaged and stuff, so he wakes up, and she's like, "Oh, you've been asleep for 3 days," and he points at his mouth, and he's like, he wants to say something. So she, okay, she comes over and she takes it off, and the only thing he says is tone deaf.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I would say on the English version, I think he says you're off key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shots, bro.
Bro, I
Shots.
love his,
That's the
I
thing
love the
she
pettiness.
gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, she busted him though.
I
Like, she
mean,
messed him up.
yeah, she jacked him up, but she deserved that. This is
Yeah.
your fault.
He wasn't going to be in that situation if she wasn't the one,
By
like,
getting captured and shit.
I
Getting
mean-
greedy in his bitch. You can
Yep.
gamble it all away anyways.
because she wasn't going to give him any. But so yeah, I mean, that episode ends. We get to see some backstory. I mean, I think this Vicious guy is probably, even though there was a huge explosion when that went off, I'd
He's
be
probably
surprised
alive.
if we don't see Vicious again.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. The episodic thing about it is I like it because it is standalone, but then it's not giving me enough. Like
Yeah.
I didn't care too much about that
Yeah.
because you only had a few minutes to build him into this episode and then to make us care about their relationship. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, next.
For me, the reason I cared though wasn't because of Vicious. It's more so about Spike. It just made me care about him more in the sense of like learning more about him, learning more about how like I feel like this fell back to the themes that I talked about in that episode 1 that the show really falls back to, is like the themes of loneliness, which we'll get to even more of later on. But it's just like showing how alone Spike really is, because he doesn't have a real relationship with Jet Black. We know he doesn't have one with Faye.
Yeah.
And then like
we're going
dog. And now we're seeing his family.
Yeah.
And that woman hasn't seen him in years, and she like got drunk just because he showed up. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, all right, well, she's probably not gonna show up again, because he didn't seem to really like. He's just like, oh, hi.
She's gone. His other guy, his father figure's dead.
Yeah, father figure's dead. His brother, he killed him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's lonely. So for me, that's what I took from this. I was just like, yo, we learned how lonely Spike's.
It sounds like this is all Spike's fault. If he was there, his dad wouldn't have died, or his father figure, and then he killed
also,
his brother. He sounds like a piece of shit.
At the same time, it seems like Spike doesn't do stuff for no stupid reason.
Of course. That
so
was
there's
me
a good
joking,
reason. Yeah,
Brennan.
it's still his fault to an extent, but
He was trying to get out, man.
Yeah.
He was trying to get out, lead a better life, I guess. I don't know.
or whatever life.
So the next episode, called Sympathy for the Devil, starts out with Spike having a weird dream. We're getting a lot of weird flashbacks from Spike. I don't know if this is just like a nightmare he's having, or if this is tied into something that's actually part of his origin, but he's like naked on a table being operated on. Almost seems like he's got, like, there's robotic elements, in like tubes and stuff. But anyway, he's apparently napping at the club. He wakes up and he fell asleep watching the show. A kid, a literal child, playing like a harmonica, and this whole bar is watching.
Never
him play.
trust a kid in a full-on suit playing a harmonica like 90s.
that.
And he was killing it.
He was.
That motherfucker was killing
This
it.
whole episode was based around that harmonica.
Yeah, it was.
Yo, bro, I was like, man, this gave me like old school Blue vibes. I was loving it.
Yeah, it was good.
What was that movie that it took his harp away, his harmonica away, and he died? It was like an old school black music. It's like, was it Cadillac Records?
I'm
Have you
not
seen that? Like, it's just one of those old school movies where it's just like, it was like one with Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters. I think it was Cadillac Records. Yeah, it was Cadillac Records. If you've seen Cadillac Records, I'm not gonna spoil it for you for the most part. You know what? Let's continue. I'm done. Like, I'm not even gonna, like, Keenan just ruined my whole life. All I'll say is that there was a harmonica, a very prevalent harmonica in that movie, and it kind of reminded me of this. That's all.
Yeah. So Spike wakes up. He's there. I mean, they're tracking another bounty because they're trying to work. They're trying to eat. They're still broke. Back on the ship, Faye is literally eating the dog's food. Just like, you want to eat, like, get a job.
Bro,
that was
this
so
is
nasty.
So
That was gross.
disgusting. And then to throw it in the dog's face. She's an asshole. I kind of like it, but she's an asshole.
And that dog is like a smart dog, we
Yeah.
find out. And that dog literally probably understands that she just ate dog food and it told me to fuck off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that dog understood that.
She was like, oh, you.
You fucking. So back at the club, Jet shows up and joins Spike, and the two of them, they basically are using these glasses, these sci-fi glasses to find their bounty across the room, and they're just like, all right, that's the dude. It's this dude named Giraffe that they're tracking. But just as they spot him, Jet also spots a friend of his, and the two of them, the Spike and Jet, they had been talking about, like, oh, this kid's pretty good. I like blues, like talking about music. It was the part that made me laugh is that fucking Jet is talking about, like, oh yeah, I like it. Since I was sucking it in on my mom's breast, like, I've been liking blues music.
Yeah.
And then he goes and talks to his bounty hunter buddy that he knows over there, and he's just like, oh yeah, I've been liking blues since I was in my dad's sack. Like, just these two old dudes just talking shit.
Yeah.
Just
I
like,
love when old dudes talk junk like that.
Was it, so
made
his
me
name was
laugh.
Fats, right? The dude,
yeah,
the bounty hunter name was
Fatty
Fats.
River, which I'd be mad if that's my bounty hunter
Oh,
name. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, he was fat though.
Could
And then
that
they
even-
took him to dinner, and what was he eating? Nothing but sweets.
Yep.
Yeah, could that exist now? I feel like people be like, you're fat shaming. You gotta change his bounty hunter name.
I think it depends on where you are. Well, bounty hunters.
Yeah, I guess that's a tough crowd.
Hey, nowadays, man, these bounty hunters might be kind of soft out here. We don't know, man.
I don't know.
So
Might be liberal in this bitch.
yeah, it could be. So Jet goes to basically distract his friend Fatty because he figures he must be here for the same bounty, while Spike goes to chase after Giraffe and see what happens. So, but Giraffe is doing some mission of his own. He's following the kid out of the club. The kid is loading his what looks like maybe a father figure into a cab. Dude's in a wheelchair, and Giraffe is watching this whole thing go down. So Giraffe is following the kid and the guy in the wheelchair, and meanwhile Spike is following Giraffe, and he follows them all to this hotel. And we don't really see a lot of what happens inside, other than Giraffe kicks the door in, basically tells tells somebody, like give him back.
Zebra.
Calls the dude Zebra.
Yeah.
And then we see it from Spike's perspective. He just gets like fucking shot out the window.
Yep.
And Spike pulls another maneuver, which you've seen him pull off before. This guy's pretty handy.
He can
in
fly,
pilot.
bro.
Yeah, he's dope.
Hits the brakes and manages not to turn this dude into a splatter on his windshield and
Yeah.
Catches
this
him with the
dude.
nose of the ship. That's,
Yeah.
Can you imagine how hard that would be?
Very difficult.
He's a beast. I like Spike, man.
He is. I like him too. And he lands on the roof and is just like, please don't die. Not because he cares about this dude, but because he wants the bounty. He's just like, just like stop talking, save your energy. And this dude is bleeding out on the hood of his ship, and he's just like, no, you have to take this ring. You have to help him, and don't trust the way he looks.
Yeah.
So really ambiguous. We don't. I mean, at this point, I'm assuming he's talking about the kid.
Yeah, you pick it
I
up.
did too. Yeah.
But, we don't know exactly what's going on. But, Spike is finding out something's going on. He's got this ring. He knows it must be worth something. So he takes it back to the ship, and they're kind of looking it over, and they don't really know what to make of it at this point. They're not really sure what the ring is. So Jet goes out with Fatty River to lunch, where we see him eating down all
All
those
the
sweets.
candies.
They eat the ring like a ring pop.
Yeah, and he kind of tells him a little bit more about the situation with Draft. Turns out this guy had a little bit more, info on what was going on, and he tells him that, hey, this kid is actually not, what he seems. We don't know where he came from. We think he might be Zebra's son. But Zebra and Giraffe were like these guys that were in this, they were raiders back in the day, and they went on this mission and raided this R&D science facility, and something went bad. We don't know what happened between them. Something happened, and basically Zebra ended up going off having this kid, and Giraffe has been kind of on the run ever since. They don't really know what the story is, but so Jet goes back to the ship to dig in more on it, and they find a news article from like 30 years ago, and they see this same kid, looks exactly the same, hasn't aged a day in 30 years, and he's got some other dude in a wheelchair.
You Webster motherfucker. This is the first thing I thought. You Webster mother. Oh, take that stupid ass suit off. This kid right here. I mean, I wanted to like him because he played the harmonica like, just an old black man.
Yeah.
Had that old black soul. But then this kid right here, man.
No,
he is a piece of fucking work.
He is diabolical.
Yes.
So Spike goes back to the club just to follow this kid and see what's up with him, and he ends up following him to a warehouse, and he's got the information at that point that there's something wrong with him. And so Spike ends up following him into this warehouse, and he goes in there, and the kid draws down on Spike.
Yo.
He's like, "Yo, stop where you are. Like, I'm like not what I appear to be, and I will fuck you up if you come any closer."
His eyes. He kind of gave me not I guess kind of like them villain saga eyes a little bit, like them evil, like mother. I will kill you. You see my eyes? I'm not fucking with you.
No. He shoots the gun right out of Spike's hand, and is just like, hey, we kind of get this kid's backstory at this point. He tells him, apparently back in the day, there was some sort of accident where one of those gateways that they were dealing with a couple episodes ago, where they trapped those eco-terrorists inside. Apparently one of those exploded near Earth back in the day, and it was like this horrible accident. And it destroyed some of the environment. But we see this kid in the flashback playing the harmonica with his parents, and after the explosion happens, he's like buried in all this soot, and his parents have been completely blown away, like an atom bomb or something like that went off. But he's totally fine, and it's totally fucked up whatever's going on with his biology.
Yeah, like those yellow shit. Yeah.
And it's turned him completely immortal, and he can't die, and he doesn't even know what's going on.
Would you want to be immortal at that age?
No.
That sounds like
you
a
can't get
fucking
no
curse.
chicks. You can't get no chicks.
It's not even the chicks. It's like you can't get no respect for your whole life. Like it's just like everybody always thinks you're a kid.
Give me a drink. I'm fucking 50, you asshole.
Yeah.
Here's
I
my
think
wallet,
imagine being Gary Coleman. Like that's like his disease. Like that's what his whole life
But
was.
Gary Coleman, you saw the age in his face. You saw that you saw it a little bit. I felt like you looked at him, but like something's a little off about him.
Yeah,
This kid ain't nothing off. He looks like a child.
I agree. I mean, one thing I have an issue with is that you were saying. That's why I kind of got distracted for a second there.
Yeah.
Is you said like we just passively just agree that guns get shot out of people's hands. If you think about it, like physics wise, gun being shot out of your hand. I'm holding a gun out at you, Keenan, right? So if you're watching our YouTube right now, you can see I'm holding a gun out at Keenan, right? Now, what angle? If you're gonna shoot a gun out of my hand, what angle are you shooting at? Like, what's the trajectory of your bullet if you're gonna shoot this out of my hand?
If I'm gonna shoot it out of your hand,
Yes.
I mean, you can shoot it inside the other barrel, Or you're gonna shoot like where your hand is right here on the bottom, like the bottom last two
so
fingers.
that means that the bullet isn't going to be embedded in another metal piece of something. It ricochets, right? Now you got to think, what's that ricochet angle? Because typically a ricochet angle is not a 90-degree angle. It's normally less than a 90-degree angle. So the ricochet angle is probably going to come and hit me, is my entire point. Is if you shoot a gun out of my hand, there's a high probability you're going to hit me with that bullet as well.
You still gonna get shot, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
either in the hand or...
How many times have we seen guns being shot over people's hands over...
Oh, I mean, that's a trope. I mean, that just happens all the
I know.
time.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
there's no way, bruh.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can give him, he's standing up above him at that point. You know, it's not like
And,
this. They're
and
not
also,
eye
this
to
kid
eye.
has how many years of experience now?
I
Like,
yeah, he can shoot, obviously.
60,
Clearly.
maybe?
But
He
so
got
they
steady young people hands.
Yeah.
so they get into a fight about it, and you know, basically this kid just fucking throws Zebra down the stairs at Spike, and Spike catches him, and they get into a little bit of a gunfight, and Spike pops this kid in the head.
Yeah.
And he thinks it's over, and he runs up to go see where he's at, and all he finds is like a bunch of blood splatter on the ground,
Yo,
and the kid is
Spike
gone.
Spike is lethal. He ain't playing no games, bro. They just ain't arm shooting. He's shooting motherfuckers right between the eyes.
Yeah.
Every single time in this shit.
Yeah, he's good.
And I mean, he did. I mean, the little kid deserved it. The little shithead deserved it. You threw a handicapped person down the stairs, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
You are the ultimate piece of shit at this point.
Spike didn't try to shoot the gun out of his hand. He went for the kill shot.
Yeah.
Right in the head.
immediately.
Right in the fucking head.
He's got no sympathy for this kid. But he manages to get out of there. He still has the ring on him, and he gets back to the ship. And now with that information, they're able to figure out a little bit more. And Jet's telling him, like, when that thing exploded, when that gate exploded, all that energy got concentrated into this little ring.
Yep.
So this little gemstone that's in the ring, they think it might be the one thing that they could possibly use against this kid to kill him, because apparently a bullet to the head, it's not going to do it.
Yeah, just
So-
blood, and then he walks away.
Yeah. So they decide to track this kid. This kid, all of a sudden now, apparently on just like a murder rampage, walks into this cab. And this fucking cabbie just like picking up this kid immediately, like he just pops him in the head and takes the cab to go.
What'd I do, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did nothing.
Just
He
trying to
he
make
could've
a
just told him-
living.
He could have just told him to get out with it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'd be like, hey, man, peace out. No problem, man.
Brutal.
Well, no, he's a little kid. They didn't respect him. He's just a little bitch ass out of here. Bah, that's what happened in the cab. He said, shut the fuck up, little kid. Bow, shot him in the head. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
And they track him into the in the taxi. Spike's following him in his ship, and I'm surprised this kid can reach the pedals. That's what stood out to me here.
Yeah.
But he's driving down the
Hilarious.
street. Spike shoots the car up, sends it careening,
Yeah.
and the kid's just like, like there's no way you can stop me. Like, what are you doing? And Spike pops right up, pops right out of his ship. The kid fires a few shots at Spike, misses him except for one, like grazes him across the cheek, and then Spike returns fire, and the kid, expecting it to be another regular bullet, just fucking takes it
Right in
grinning.
the head again. We're between the eyes.
And he expects it to go differently, or he expects it to go no differently.
Yeah.
But something very different happens to
Yeah.
him. He says he immediately just starts aging, just completely withering. Almost kind of looks like those kids from Akira. Those
Yeah.
like
Oh,
superpowered
man.
old
Oh,
age
yeah.
kids or whatever.
That motherfucker got hit with that Benjamin Button bullet.
Yeah.
Shit! Not like this.
That
then
was
he
a Benjamin Button bullet.
Yo, the
was.
funny thing.
Yo, Cam, that's the name of the episode.
Benjamin Button bullet.
Benjamin Button
Yes.
bullet.
That motherfucker started aging like an avocado, man. It was so fast. You ever
So
just leave an avocado out for like 3 minutes? You're like, how's it brown? How? This
Yeah.
was this kid just started aging so fast, like a prune, just thinner. You ever seen that movie, Thinner? I'm just going on a rampage.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, you just keep it going, bro.
it was hilarious. He died so fast, and I never, but in this show so far, he's one of the only people that I was like, yes, die.
Yeah, fuck this kid.
Yeah, fuck you.
He's a straight-up piece
I
of
love that
trash.
he died.
I mean, obviously he's had a hard life, but he could turn into
Fuck
a real
him.
piece of shit
Yeah.
over those like 85 years he was living as a
Little kids, people don't understand, man. You got to take it easy on kids. Nah, man, they could be this kid.
You got a
could
taste
be-
of immortality.
They
in
could
turn.
be an old person in a young kid's body. Fuck a kid up, man.
Yeah. And the kid just says he's
Brennan's looking at me like,
yeah.
what? I'm just
I
saying,
do not
anybody
disagree
can get
I
it,
do
bro.
not- I do not disagree with any part. I do not agree with any part of this statement that Keenan has made.
What, beating the kid's ass?
Yeah.
Man, fuck all that.
No, man. So he apparently this is a relief to him. He finally gets to rest in 85 years, and he's saying it feels like a weight's been lifted off of him, and he gets a better death than he probably deserves. Honestly, he gets put at peace. This is at a very much like a Tanjiro killing a demon sort of thing, which maybe ties back into that sympathy for the devil title for this episode.
Yeah, if I was Spike, I would have went up to him and just unloaded the clip on his ass after that.
Yeah. So Spike takes his little harmonica and symbolically tosses it in the air and just bang. And like you said, Brennan, the whole episode revolves around the harmonica.
Yes, it did.
Can any of y'all play the harmonica? I feel like that's a difficult instrument to play.
I think everybody can play the harmonica. Can they play it well? Hell no.
No, I mean you can blow into it. It doesn't count.
No, I cannot play the harmonica.
No, I can't play the harmonica. It seems hard. Seems
difficult.
real hard.
Yeah.
So this next episode called Heavy Metal Queen starts off with this woman who's a truck driver. Seems like you got these 18-wheeler
Did you realize
truck
that
drivers.
was a woman?
I thought so. She was like some
The whole
like
episode, I was like, this is a guy.
big
And
broad battle axe type of
And
lady.
the English version is like the voice is clearly like I picked up immediately.
In the Japanese version, deep voice.
I mean, I was.
Okay. So I actually switched back and
maybe.
forth. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little confused at first, but I was kind of like,
Understandable if you're watching the Japanese version and the voice is that different. Because in the
I think
English
it was
version,
purposely. I thought it was purposely ambiguous, where it's just like the name was VT,
Yeah.
and it was just like it was a trucker because like they have pretty much this whole episode was like a trucker episode.
Yeah, she's like a big tough lady for
Yeah.
sure.
She's a big tough lady, but she also doesn't have the figure of a lady. Like she
No.
wears big heavy coats, a hairstyle that's ambiguous. Everything about her was ambiguous.
But
in
I
the
think
sense
that's
of-
probably on purpose. She's trying to
Blend
present
in.
tough.
Yeah, I get that. So
blend
that's what
in,
I'm saying. Like
for
I
sure.
think that for me, the only moment like I found out like halfway through this episode, this is a woman
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So she gets to
Did
this.
you lose respect for her after that, Brennan?
No, not at all.
Okay, making sure.
Ouch.
Most of this
Making
episode,
sure.
damn.
Damn.
Most of this episode takes
Damn.
place at kind of like this trucker rest stop sort of area. So that's where she's checking in. She's running into some of her old like driver buddies or whatever. And you see that even in the real world, the truckers got a camaraderie between them, and
Absolutely.
talking about like their different routes. She's making money going back and forth from there to Venus and all that shit. But what we also find out is she's called VT, and apparently everybody, the big game or the big guessing game there at the stop is to try and find out what her real name is, like Rumpelstiltskin style.
Straight up.
And
so-
Rumpelstiltskin.
So this guy comes up and he's just like, oh, before you go, like as they're catching up, like on our way out, he's just like, I got another name to guess, and he's wrong. So she takes his cash and adds it to the pot.
He betting bank. That's a dollar bet, bro. You don't bet your check.
I think everybody bets the same amount. It looked like.
And it looks like it's going like it's a big
She
big
got a
wad
stack.
of cash.
Yeah, it's like that's rent.
It is. So she gets that and she heads to the local bar, and it's busy. She even says to the bartender.
Just side note, does that seem smart to you? It's like I'm a trucker. I'm dealing with some like shady figures, and I'm known for walking around with this giant wad of cash all the time that I'll throw on the table at any point. Like it just seems like you get robbed. That's all.
I feel like she has a certain level of respect.
She definitely does.
That's
No,
why
I mean,
people.
yeah.
and she can also, I mean, she can fucking hang too. We find out pretty soon
she's
after.
serious. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I think people know that, so that's probably why people just don't automatically assume just to go fuck with her.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, not a bad point. If everybody knows
Got
that
that.
she's got.
Yeah, somebody's an idiot or
Yeah,
somebody's an
that's true.
asshole. Always,
Yeah.
somebody doesn't care about respect. Always.
Very true. Very
Yep.
true.
So she shows up at this bar and she says to this guy, like, hey, like, what are all these people doing here? And the bartender tells her, well, a lot of bounty hunters around. Turns out this guy named Decker is in the area, and which I think might be a nod to fucking Blade Runner. Decker is the name of Harrison Ford's character. So they're all a bunch of bounty hunters all in the area looking for this guy, and she seems to have a very low opinion of bounty hunters, which you kind of understand why. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, you've got Spike with a hangover, just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, I think this is a waste of time. Like, this guy isn't here. I'm not finding Decker, and we find out you got like Faye over at some like Chuck E. Cheese place. But she manages actually to fucking find the dude.
Well,
Or
she thinks she found.
She
the
thinks
guy.
she finds him. This
Yeah.
big dude, all tatted up, comes into Chuck E. Cheese and sits down, and she sidles up to him and is just like, "Hey, big guy, like you looking for a good time?" And he takes the bait.
Oh, hard.
Very hard.
Oh, what you trying to do then, Mom?
He's like, "You trying to get this?" And she was like, "I'm trying to give it." And he was just like, "Ooh."
That's a line for your ass, though.
Yeah, that gun went right to his throat. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
And this is what she's giving him.
Yeah, these bullets.
And he's just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" And she immediately is just like, "Yeah, Decker, I saw you coming in with this dragon tattoo. Everybody knows you got a dragon tattoo, idiot." And leans over to the guy and is just like, "Hey, call the cops. I got this Decker dude here."
And
this
he
dude
has he's the Decker.
He
Yeah,
is
he's
Decker.
Decker.
He
Yeah.
very clearly has a dragon tattoo
Tattoo.
on his arm, and he's
I
like, "Oh."
love that he was covering it up.
He covered it and just like fumbled his way out of there.
Fucking
Yo.
Woody Allen looking dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he was like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids, Rick Moranis looking motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And
Straight
he's
up.
just like, yeah, I'll get the cops, and runs out of there. And she,
Yeah.
as he's running out of there, she sees the tattoo on his arm. She's like, what the fuck? Rips this guy's like shirt open, and she's like, what is this? And she's
Like a SpongeBob tattoo.
Yeah.
it's
some
the
shit.
8-eyed eel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Like
love of
crying.
love.
First of all, Spike's a dumbass. If you know people coming after you, and why do criminals do that even in movies? It's like, yeah, he has recognizable tattoos. I'm gonna show this shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt every fucking day, so you
Right.
don't know who I am. If I'm a smart criminal,
He's
Yeah.
not a smart
He's not a
criminal,
smart criminal.
as we find out. So Faye chases after him. Back in the bar, we see a couple of bounty hunters start harassing this waitress, and that doesn't sit well with VT. And she goes and starts beating ass. Like
Yeah.
she just starts like handling folks, and they're just like, "Oh, you think you're gonna stand up to us?" And Spike, his hungover ass, comes out of the bathroom, and he gets involved too because he's a bounty hunter with some honor. You
Yeah,
know, he
that's
can't.
nuts. And it's funny, they go like, we gonna fuck you up then, and then they go try to fight Spike. They get whipped. You know what's funny? It's just when you're already getting your ass whooped.
Yeah.
You getting your ass whooped by VT, and you just like whip his ass. Then it's like that's what you do when you lose. And you're like, let's go fight somebody else, man.
And then they lost that. And then they was like, yeah, man, we're going to get you one day. He's like, what? And they was like, nothing, sorry.
They run out of there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Faye is chasing after the real Decker and is telling him like, "Yo, this is where he is." But he manages to squeeze out of a door, and before he does, she's about to get into her ship. He tosses this little vial of something at her. You see the chemical compounds in it start to mix, and they explode and completely fucking destroy her ship.
Yeah.
Which is too bad.
Yeah.
Because that thing was sick. But meanwhile, Spike is, talking with VT, kind of learning more about her. She explains that, people try to guess her name. And he's about to throw down a guess when she finds out, or he gets a call from Faye that Decker is, on the run, that he got away, and she figures out that he's a bounty hunter. And she at the time was like, "Yo, let me buy you a drink for helping me out," and then she finds out he's a bounty hunter. She's like, "You know what? Fuck you. Get out of here. Like, fuck bounty hunters. Like, the rest, you're all trash."
Yeah.
Spike's like, okay, and goes out
Bye.
and finds out that group of dudes they got their revenge by putting his ship up on cinder blocks.
Oh,
Just totally
yeah,
fucked up his
man.
ride.
They lit him up.
And the waitress is just like, "Oh yeah, I saw him out there doing that," and he's just like, "Why don't you tell me?" She's like, "I'm telling you now."
They made her the dumb blonde. In
She
there.
is definitely a dumb blonde. After he helps you like fight off those
Yeah.
dudes, you're not gonna tell him, not gonna help him out.
Ugh.
So VT is out and about, and we see her later on. She's running her route, and she hears that somebody, one of the other truckers, had a bit of trouble with a dude driving the same ship that Decker has been seen driving around. She's just like, okay, maybe I can get a lead on this dude, and starts to track him down. And she's calling in all her favors with all the other trucker dudes. Finds out she's got a reputation. Dudes that don't even know her, just like, "Oh, but I know the heavy metal queen, the VT, so let me
Yeah.
help you out."
The
Yeah,
heavy
I
metal-
saw this dude.
Just real quick, sorry. The heavy
Yeah.
metal music they were playing in this whole episode was dope.
Yeah,
I'm not a heavy metal guy like that, but I was like,
I was in it.
I was in.
I was like,
this
okay.
this rocks with it.
It does.
Yeah.
What I forgot to mention, VT does end up giving a ride to Spike and to Faye back to the ship. So she knows where they're at. They exchange numbers, I guess. And so she finds out where this dude is and gives them a call like, "Hey, bounty hunters, like, if you want this dude, this is where he's on this asteroid, so you can get there." But she's headed in after him, and they tell her, "Don't do that. He's a fucking demolitions expert.
Yeah.
That's why he's wanted."
Yeah.
And so she doesn't listen to that. She's kind of doing her own thing. VT chases after this dude, and once he sees her on his tail, he starts chucking explosives at her.
Yeah.
And it gets pretty dangerous, and they end up having like this whole crash in there right before the Bebop arrives, or just as they're arriving.
Yep.
Spike and Faye are just able to get their ships, damaged as they are. They're not up to their full capacity into the asteroid to chase after her. And as this explosion happens, they're all trapped inside. But it kills Decker in the explosion. His whole shit gets like, his windshields get blown out. He's out in space. You see his like cheeks all like puffy, his eyes
Seems to
bulging
be
out
like
of his
the
head.
common thing in this show is like, yo, where's the bounty? He's like, oh yeah, we killed him.
They
Yeah.
can. They should just be hired contract killers because that's what they're good at.
They are absolutely good at killing
They're
people.
amazing at it, but they suck at getting a bounty.
Not good at bringing them in alive, absolutely. So but now they're trapped inside. They got no bounty. But the way they figure they're going to get out is by using some of this dude's explosives, because their guns don't work because they got damaged.
Yep.
So what they end up doing is coming up with this plan. where Spike's going to use his little pod to send it out forward and towards the wall, but they're also going to hook up some of the explosives to it. And it gets a little touchy in there. Faye is trying to do her thing, trying to help out.
She did a good job.
She did all right. She punctured the fucking detonator device on the thing. It's like,
oh, what's that?
What's
What's that leak coming out? Like, oh, that must be the stabilizer. You should probably be careful now. Like, oh wow, okay.
She's not giving me a whole lot of confidence. Here.
None.
She's even saying like, "Oh, I'm not good for this type of job." I'm like, "Well, better fucking figure it out fast, because that shit is dangerous." But they end up hooking it up to Spike's pod, and he sends it out towards the wall.
Spike did some dope shit right here. Can I talk about this really quick?
You go for it, and I got something to say after that.
Okay, so Spike, he clears the pod. So he's like, how are you going to do that? Because the pod is where you drive the ship from. So he ejects his pod pretty much from that. He set it to a timer for 40 seconds. Faye puts the explosive in it. But now Spike is out in space without a spacesuit. So he takes a deep breath, and then he pretty much kicks himself off over towards the trucker, VT, right?
Yeah.
And isn't able to get there. And is trying to reach, barely misses. Something happens, like an explosion happens, I think, out there, and it blows him away from her. And he's just like, oh, shit, what am I going to do? And then, they're like, oh, he's going to die pretty much. And then he pulls out his gun and then shoots it as a way of propulsion to be able to push himself back over towards her, which I was just like, that was so boss.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Physics-wise, and maybe I'm wrong because I've never been to space before.
That would work.
No, not that. I thought when you go out to space, you freeze to death.
You absolutely do, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Is I hated this moment.
Yeah, I was like, "This is what?"
It's just a pet peeve of mine, and I think I've talked about this.
And the only thing I could say to it is that they were inside of this asteroid thing.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that there's some kind of heat
atmosphere, maybe.
Just heat. I guess I don't know.
I guess
I really don't know.
It's a personal pet peeve of mine in movies or TV shows when somebody goes out into the cold void of space and it is just you just hold your breath and you're fine. That's not how it works.
I think you can survive for 12 seconds or something like that before it's you die in the time.
But it's not going underwater. It's not like you hold your breath and you're okay. If even if you can survive for 12 seconds out in space, I think you're going to be so fucked up by the time you get back in there. I don't know that it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's that or die. It'd be worth it,
I guess. But you got to be fucking it. I mean, there's. Space is so cold. I feel like you would just freeze instantly.
Yeah.
You would have frostbite on levels. You're losing all your fingers, all your toes. All that's got to go. Anyway, anytime I see that in a movie or TV show, I'm immediately oh, fucking this shit.
Yeah.
It just takes me out of it because I don't buy it. But anyway, it was smart of him to do that. He gets back onto the ship with VT and they get out. Faye gets back to the ship, and as VT's giving him a ride there, he manages to see she's got a little pocket watch. VT saved him, and he sees a picture on the inside of it. And with that, he's able to finally guess her name, Victoria. What is this? I can't. Turkish score, something like that.
Who the fuck would guess that, yo?
Well, he knew because he knew.
But I'm saying no. I know he got
ever?
that.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna guess that shit. Are you kidding me?
It's crazy.
At first he was like, "Yo, keep giving me the bread, bro. You ain't gonna get this." Victoria Snarf. You're not gonna get that.
The only hint that we got at this was earlier in the episode when she's walking into the bar, and one of the dudes is just one of the bounty hunters that we hear talking shit over them is just "No, I'm gonna catch this dude because I taught this Terpsichore dude all he knew, and he's apparently some sort of legendary bounty hunter."
And that was her husband.
And that was her husband, and he's just and so at that point she's like, "Oh, well, here, the cash is yours." And Spike just takes his money back and he's like, "Nah, give the rest to Terpsichore." And she's like, "It'll have to wait. He's in heaven." And he's like, "Well, when you get there, buy him a drink for me."
You got the money, bro. Y'all broke.
I know.
Y'all always killing y'all bounties. Take the fucking bread.
You guys you're eating dog food on the ship. Times are dire.
You're not just eating dog food. You're stealing dog food from the dog. So now the dog can't eat.
Yeah,
it's not like y'all sharing dog food.
Should have took the money.
He should have. It was. He was trying to do an honorable thing.
Man,
but
fuck that. And then she said the dude is dead, and he was like, "Well, buy him a drink in heaven." You can't take money to heaven.
She's still making money. They were just saying "Oh man, you made a 4-day round trip to Venus. You got you're raking it in
3 days."
VT, yeah, she's corrects into 3 days.
Yeah.
She's rolling in it.
Yeah, she's breaded.
She's fine.
Need that.
She'll be all right. But anyway, noble Spike, but ill-advised. Yeah. Anyway, the next episode, that it starts out with basically like an airliner, equivalent going to Venus. You got all these people just like kind of on this like 747 style like seating chart, but I guess flight security in the future is very lax.
Yes, it is. Holding just guns in their bags.
Yeah, not even just like
machine guns.
3D printed like plastic guns, like
these are
straight
big.
up guns.
They didn't prepare for none of this shit in the future. This is not the future we're thinking about. You could bring guns out into space like that in these traveling ships. You can't even put a fucking dime in your pocket right now.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, this goes to show you this is a pre 9/11 creation.
Do you
where
understand how
clearly flight
difficult-
security was just so different.
How would flight security be in space? It would be insane.
I would think so. You got like all sorts of technology that can scan this, that, or whatever. Like, and you can't like find a gun on the.
You're getting butt ass naked. I think they're gonna make you get butt. If you want to go to space and travel, get asshole naked, and then you can get through TSA or
maybe.
SSA or whatever.
Yeah. So these guys, 3 terrorists on the ship, but they're pulling out the guns and they're going crazy, telling people put hands up in the air, all this shit. They're hijacking the plane. Meanwhile, Spike has got his sleep mask on. This made me laugh. Just this image of him with like the sleep mask on with the
his
eyes wide open.
Yeah.
The dude walks over and he's just like, "Yo, like wake up! This is not a drill. Like your ship's being it's taken. It's being taken under attack." And Spike is just whether or not he's actually aware of what's happening, just sort of like making
He's
his
aware.
way. He fucks this dude up like the guy tries to hit him. He ducks underneath it. He puts his head back up, knocks that dude out, and the other people come over to help him out. And Spike just flips this dude over, just like, "Oh, what happened?" Like playing stupid.
Yeah.
Finally, the last woman's about like she's the only one that's kind of on top of it, but what she doesn't realize is Faye's also
behind.
on there, and she
Yep.
comes in there with like some sort of knockout spray.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Hey.
same. She sprays the girl and she totally passes out. This is the first time we've seen them successfully pull off a bounty.
And they get the money.
They finally get the money.
Yep.
Finally.
So they get 1.5 million wooloos or whatever.
Faye takes 400,000 and dips immediately.
Yeah. And she's just like, "Yeah, I want to get paid right now." And Spike's just like, "Right here, right now?" She's like, "Right now." And he's like, "You all going off to the casino?" She tells him it's a better place for the money than the bank. I don't know what the logic is
No
there because
logic. She has a problem.
She is out now. I want to know where her gambling problems came from. We didn't get to that yet, right?
No,
Or did we
no,
say that?
so.
We need to know because this is just absolutely ridiculous. Like
She's apparently some sort of legendary gambler. That's how we meet her. Is she's like some sort of card shark.
legendary. She hasn't won shit yet.
She's lost 30 million at this point.
Yeah.
That's her track record.
30 million?
That's what she stole from.
30.4 million at
Yeah.
this point.
Oh my God. So anyway, she goes off to go lose her money.
Legendary at losing in this bitch.
She goes out to lose her money. Meanwhile, Spike is walking his way out of the airport, and we see this dude, I guess coming in through customs, and they're telling him like, you got to pay this, bring the stuff you're trying to bring onto the planet. We don't know what it is. It's in some sort of sack. And this guy spots Spike and recognizes him from all the adventure on the plane. It's just like, "Yo, dude, like you got to teach me this. Like, what did you get? Kung fu, like karate? Like you
Right.
gotta help me out here. Like that's some crazy shit you just pulled." And Spike's just like, "Nah, dude, like I'm not teaching you. Like there's no amount of money. Like fuck off, kind of
Yeah.
thing." And this dude won't leave him alone.
Persistent, like chasing. He's one of those people like the elevator's closing, and then like Spike went to a whole different level, and then he's still in front of the elevator at the new place, just like sweaty and breathing hard. It's like, oh dang, you really just ran that? Okay, no.
So finally, he manages to talk Spike into like, "All right, yeah, I'll teach you a thing or two. Fine."
And then
so
Spike literally was just like, and I'm Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he said the fucking
Exact line.
speech he gives him
is the exact line for line that Bruce Lee gives in interviews, where he's just like, "Be like Walter, my friend."
Yeah.
You know, it's like Walter be crashing, Walter move. Like he's just straight up. He's literally said the Bruce Lee quotes about water.
You very much gave me, Demon Slayer vibes. Like this is the whole like water
Yeah.
thing that you have with Tanjiro, like
Water
the different
breathing.
water forms that it can be hard, it can be soft, it can be
Yeah.
like any
Water
of these
wheel.
things.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or it also kind of reminded me of shit. What was I gonna say? Well, it reminded me of Demon Slayer. It also reminded me of the Ultra Instinct a little bit because he's just like, oh, you have to like be very fluid and just like react.
All
to
that is
things as
Bruce
it's
Lee,
happening.
man.
Yeah.
All that came from Bruce Lee.
Makes sense.
Bruce Lee is the first Ultra Instinct.
Yeah. So he's teaching him that. He teaches him like the flip over technique. Like, yeah, you come at me as hard as you can. Dude charges Spike with a knife, and Spike just like, no, you don't.
He
Like, I
really
use
turns him
all your
over.
energy and take that power and transition it into this flip. Like, I don't have to do anything. You're
That's
not
great.
dangerous to me at all. And so the guy kind of takes that. Meanwhile, back on the ship, you've got Jet and Faye, who's already lost all her money, I guess, checking out the bounties. And they see that there's a crime crew. There's like a little crime syndicate, like kind of operating on the planet with like a bonus if they can catch all of them.
Yeah.
And one of the names they see is this dude Rocco, who Spike's been hanging out with.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Spike
he's
is
not,
like, oh shit.
yeah, he's not with his crew anymore. And we see that because we see these bad looking dudes coming out of the airport, and they spot Rocco and Spike like hanging out, and they lock eyes, and Rocco's just like, oh, like, here, take this, and hands Spike the package, and he's just like, yo, meet me at this place like in
2 days.
In 2 days, tomorrow night or something like that, and just runs, and those dudes take off after him. And Spike's just like, I don't know what the hell this is. So he goes back to his ship. He's talking with him. They recognize that he's part of the crew, but clearly he must have split off with them at some point. And they open up the package and they find that there's a plant in there. But the plant is super pricey. Like, it's a type of plant that they're able to make this medicine that they can help people cure the sickness that they get when they're on Venus.
Yeah, certain people, like a
Yeah.
percentage of the population, gets this horrible sickness that like blinds them and
Yeah.
messes with their body in horrible ways, and this is the only way to cure it.
This is the only plant that'll do it. So it makes it almost priceless.
Yeah.
And so they're hanging on to that. They're like, you almost can't even sell it. It's that big of a deal. So they go into some investigative stuff, kind of to do with do their bounty hunter thing, try to find out more of the situation they got themselves involved in. And Spike ends up finding this place where they've been living, Rocco, and he finds out soon after his little sister had been living there. And Spike goes in there, and as he's walking in, first she pulls a gun on him, but she must, I guess, just be hearing him, because she's totally blind. We find out soon enough, and she finds out like, oh, like, you're Rocco's friend, and kind of like drops the gun and like is immediately cool with him when she finds out that he knows Rocco somehow. And we get a little bit of the backstory here that Venus has been terraformed in this future, so they've been using plants to make it inhabitable by humans, trying to create oxygen and atmosphere. But like Brennan was saying, some people react poorly to that still. They even said on the flight as they were coming in, oh, like, you may experience some sickness.
If so, go to the doctor immediately.
Bro,
Because,
why? I'm not going on. I'm like, what?
This further feeds Rob's never leaving Earth beliefs.
Yeah, why the fuck? You would have to, at that place would have to
Rob,
already
now.
be Earth. Already like Earth where it's at. Like,
I think it's really funny. I've never met somebody so like I'm never gonna leave this planet like Rob. I've never had that conversation until Rob.
I feel like Rob's a traveler too.
I mean, I'll go anywhere on the planet, except I'm not going into the deep ocean. Fuck that too.
Yeah,
Fuck the deep ocean.
I'm with you on
But
that shit.
I'm a on land guy.
So
Like,
if,
all right,
if
cool.
after like successfully Tesla does 1,000 flights of their space flight, it's like riding an airplane now. They're going to the moon. There's a really, really cool colony up there that's super safe. There's been no accidents for 30 years. Everything's great. And you get a free ticket to go up there for the weekend. You can be like, nah.
I don't know, man. Accidents happen. First time for everything.
Yeah, but you can say that about an airplane. You can say that about your car.
Yeah,
It's true.
So I'm saying, thousands of flights in, no
on
mistakes,
a free flight,
perfect.
you better
free
take
flight,
that. Just
free flight to the moon.
If it's free, like, I'll probably take it. But
Okay, so he's
you
not-
gotta.
he's not absolute.
I'm having a panic attack.
So it's not absolute though. That's my point. I just want to see if it was absolute.
You got to do what everybody else does when they fly. They just got to drink yourself to fucking oblivion.
I guess so.
Yeah,
There's probably some
pass
kind of
out.
reason you're not supposed to do that going to space. But whatever. Moving on.
I mean,
Knock
possibly.
me out, man. So as Spike is talking with this girl, and he finds out she's blind. They've been working on this sickness. Rocco's been trying to help her. She's just like, oh, I know he's doing bad things, but he's a good guy. I can feel it, and I can feel it from you. Like, the two of you have this good energy. And Spike is not really sure of that, especially when it pertains to himself. And I thought this was a really cool moment. She shows him this music box, and she's like, oh, he gave this to me. And as he's looking at it, he finds a secret compartment, and inside are more seeds for this plant. And we find out from Jet later that this is, I mean, they're priceless practically.
Yeah, the seeds are worth more than the plant.
They're worth more than the plant itself. And I thought this was a cool moment, just directorially. Like, you're listening to the music box, the songs "Dream a Little Dream of Me." What I thought was kind of cool is, though, he's listening to that music as she's telling, like, oh no, I know you're a good person, and where the music leaves off in that scene, it doesn't quite resolve the tune.
No, it doesn't.
As he's saying, like, yeah, I don't know if I'm such a good guy, and you don't know. He steals these seeds from her, and you don't know what he's going to do with them. So is Spike a good guy? Is he going to do the right thing?
Who knows?
Is he going to try to help her? You don't know where he's coming from at this point, what he's going to do. But he does end up, at this point, unfortunately, Rocco does get caught up to by his
in the bathroom.
In the fucking bathroom.
He's like, he got away from him on foot, and then he walks in and uses the bathroom. He's like,
I'm just saying, like, if I walked into a bathroom, like, I just somewhere, and I see like the back of your head at a urinal, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's Brennon.
I know who that is.
How does he not recognize his old boss's head standing at the urinal? The dude sidles up next to him.
Yeah,
he deserved this.
It's just a bad look for Rocco. So he gets
poor Rocco.
He gets roughed
he gets
up,
lit up.
They beat the shit out of him.
And
like,
put
where's
out a
the
cigar
plan?
on his forehead?
Ooh, I was like, man, he's in a lot of trouble. So he ends up meeting up with Spike at the agreed upon time, and Spike's got the plant. And it seems like at first, Rocco's gonna try to screw Spike over, and just take the plant back, because he's gonna do whatever it takes to help his sister. Mm-hmm. But then when it becomes clear that Spike's been working with his sister, then he's just like, oh shit, like we can figure this out.
Was that? But he also realizes that Spike realizes what he had. He's like, did you open it? So yeah, I did open it. I know exactly what this is. I'm giving it back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, it's for your sister, right? And he's just like, shit, get out of here, man. Like,
yeah.
they're gonna kill you. So and he was just like, well, yeah, I know them that they're here too.
So fight ensues, and as per usual, Spike is fucking people up.
Fucking people
with
up.
the hands.
And Rocco, this was too bad. I could totally see this coming too, like with the shot, because the dude charges Rocco, and Rocco uses all that one lesson from Spike and flips him over, and he's just
lights him up.
I did it, dude. Like, I did it. And he turns to face him, and as soon as it happened, I was like, fuck, I knew it. Bullet right through his chest.
You never celebrate.
Do you like how we were like on cue there?
Yeah,
that was nice.
That was bad.
Yeah,
that was too
I was
bad.
sad. I didn't want Rocco to
I don't
die.
have sympathy for like stuff like that. For like just, I don't want to say just ignorance, but like just naivety. I guess if that's even a word. Like,
I do.
I like for most times I don't. It's just like, bro, don't be cocky. I don't have like, you see what I just did? But like, you deserve to get shot. I'm not like, oh.
I'm 100% that guy though. Like, I'm like, Mom, look what I did. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm 100% that guy.
I can see Brennan doing some shit like, yo, you see what I just did to this motherfucker? Shot him twice in the leg with one bullet. Bow, went through both legs. Brennan!
No!
That's probably my end.
It was sad, man. It really bummed me out. So Spike ends up fighting off the last of them and goes over to him, holding him in his arms. He's just like,
such a sad scene.
Take care of my sister, and I think if maybe we could have been friends if we met under other circumstances. Like, damn,
and
that's
Spike
too
is
bad.
like, Spike gave 110% effort to save his life.
He did.
He's like, did you see the flip I did, Master?
Yeah,
it's like, oh,
it's too bad. But and the worst part of it is in the middle of all that, the plant gets dropped, the glass breaks, and the plant just shrivels up and dies. But luckily, they still have those seeds, and it seems like Spike's able to sell them off for the money and pay for the surgery for Rocco's sister. And he meets up with her in the hospital, brings her some flowers, and she's just like, thank you. Like, Rocco finally got this paid for the surgery. Like, where is he? Is he get caught? And he's just like, nah, she didn't get caught. And she's like, he's dead, isn't he? And that hits her pretty hard.
She's
and
like, you can leave me now.
You can just, you can take off. I appreciate everything you've done. She wants to think about it to herself, and Spike heads out as the music box starts playing again, and the spores from all the plants that have terraformed, Venus start to fall again. Those things that create the disease in the first place. Yeah. Kind of beautiful, almost like those little dandelion seeds that you see kind of floating through the air.
Man,
they say it almost looks like snow, and and that's that episode ends as Spike walks across the Venus landscape as the spores start to fall down like snow. Yeah.
I like this show, man.
You like it?
I like this show. This is a good pick, Rob.
Thank you.
What's your feeling and your rating on it? These next.
Honestly, like I was telling you guys from the episode 1, like even just like going back over them now, like I'm just remembering how well, like for me, like my biggest compliment to the show is how well it's directed. In the sense of like the imagery and the music. It's like I feel like the director was like, okay, cool, we're gonna put this episode to this type of music. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now we have this theme, we have this song. Now let's build the animation to that. You know, and that's not a way that you typically do it the opposite way.
You're guessing, or that's what they say they do?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
That's what the
What it
music
feels
is
like.
so seamless with the animation that I don't know how else they would have. And I don't know. I just really love it. Like I think that, again, I think this was the perfect pick for Toonami to put as one of the first anime, because it's just like not only is this a great gateway anime, like I said last time. All these episodic pieces stand alone. So it's like you can just be watching any episode. 'Cause I vividly remember my very first episode of Dragon Ball Z. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Same.
The very first episode I saw of Dragon Ball Z was when Radix arrived, and then Goku Piccolo, Goku sacrificed himself. Gohan
Right.
did a little head charge thing.
Right.
And I'm just like, what is happening? You know, like, because I had no idea. There's no way to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like, you could pick up the beginning of an episode anywhere so far. Any one of these episodes, you can just watch it, and you know 92% of what's happening. You know, it's just like, all right, there's this guy. These are bounty hunters. Easy to figure out because they've mentioned it a bunch of times. And then you're like, all right, cool. This is the adventure they're on. I stick with my rating from last time. I give it 7,400.
Okay. We'll let Rob go last since he picked the episode.
Okay. Yeah, where are you coming from, Keenan?
I like it. These 4 episodes didn't do as much for me as the first 4. I think I like the story base more, in the sense of like how TV, like how anime goes, in the sense of telling a story and everything comes together.
Yeah.
So for me, the episodic thing, I get it. It's kind of cool, but I'm not necessarily falling in love with anybody character wise. And I want, to me, I love like a steady antagonist.
Yeah.
And so we haven't at least had that yet. Anyways, maybe we're gonna get that somewhere in the show, which is fine. So right now I actually dropped my rating to 6,800. Not too much. It's probably gonna. I mean, we'll see how it keeps going. If it keeps going, it probably won't drop too much lower than that. I know they're supposed to be introducing a new character soon. Hopefully, because I saw him like in a little poster or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he's coming soon. But yeah, I feel like the show is like I said, to me the music is what it is. Even though I'm not I'm not a heavy metal guy like that. Like you said, the themes of each episode having their own kind of style of music, pretty much.
Yeah.
I can still rock with it. It makes, like how you said, it seems like they did kind of like place the music and it was like, all right, build the episode around this music. Or they could have just made this and it's just like, yo, this is the perfect fitting. We want to go rock style with this, make a heavy metal style soundtrack. That's what I appreciate. I feel like these are all soundtracks. I want to hear like if they got like an album, a soundtrack album to this show. If they got one, I want to listen to it because it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So 6,800 for me.
Cool. Yeah, I agree with a lot of the points you made, Keenan. I think I'm going to drop my score a little bit as well this week to a 7,000 even. But because I also agree with things you were saying, Brennan. I think it's a great show. I'm having a lot of fun watching it. This is definitely my kind of vibe as far as just like the setting. You know, I really like sci-fi stuff in general. So this is, I think, and I was saying before we got into the studio, you stopped us having this conversation earlier before the podcast started.
Yeah.
I am enjoying this much more than I enjoyed Samurai Champloo, which, you know, obviously there's a lot of links between it, you know, same director, a lot of similarities in just the way they tell the story.
Yep.
But at least so far, I'm enjoying Cowboy Bebop more. And I think it's because, yes, it's still these episodic episodes, so that's where I say I kind of see where you're coming from. There's no like overarching like antagonist, and while that can be helpful to watch any episode,
Right.
it does kind of like you can watch that episode and then be like, all right, well, I don't necessarily have like a reason to come back. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think I'm liking this more just because Samurai Champloo to me got a little too silly sometimes. And maybe that'll happen on this show too. But like there are episodes of Samurai Champloo that I'm like, okay, that was dope. Like I would watch that again. But then there's some episodes that I thought were so bad that I would not, like the episode with the mushrooms and the zombies and even the baseball episode. Like I have no
Baseball
reason
episode was terrible.
to watch those again.
Funny kind of.
If I did watch Champloo again, I would skip over them.
So
far, I don't have an episode of this that I'm like, I would skip that.
The mushroom episode is where like he took him and he was kind of fighting with like kind of all weird and stuff like that.
No, that was the one where they find out there's like an asteroid coming to Earth and like they're starving and so they eat these mushrooms and the whole thing's like a weird trip where they meet up with that dude who turns out he's like from a totally different era of like Japanese history. They still think they're fighting for a different emperor or some shit. You remember this? No. You got to
rewatch it. But this is what I would say about it's kind of not giving the edge to Samurai Champloo, but the high to Samurai Champloo, this hasn't reached yet to me.
I agree with that. Like the blind chick episodes, the episodes with the guy they fought on the bridge.
Yeah, the last
couple episodes, the last 3 episodes.
Yeah,
there's like a solid like 12 episodes of Samurai Champloo.
Which I would agree with. If it was 12 episodes, it would be a fucking dope ass anime. I thought it would be if it was those 12. But right now, that's the crazy part about it. Even though I'm enjoying this throughout, it hasn't reached the highs of Samurai Champloo.
I agree with. I think
I would have to actually kind of probably even go back and we didn't rate Samurai Champloo. We got to probably eventually go back and give our ratings for those shows.
Those older ones, yeah.
But I'm sure I want Ice's rating probably dropped. I don't even care to know really.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's dropped like 3,000.
Yeah.
But that to me at this point means he's gonna. What did we put Gangsta at?
0.
It was bad. I think I gave it a 4.
Did we
like
put
not a 400, like a 4.
4.
Yeah. So we had it in the singles and double digits probably.
I mean, I don't think we rated Gangsta.
We didn't really.
But it's our basement. So for me, it's like I can easily just say that's the 0. As far as I know, until I find something that becomes absolute 0, maybe I'll rank it a 4 like Rob. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 is kind of a joke ranking, but I wouldn't give it. I mean, maybe like a 0 or like maybe a few hundred. Like there wasn't anything that I really.
It was an average human being, like 40.
I can't think of something off the top of my head that it would redeem it. Like, oh no, like this sucks, but there's this cool thing. Like, I don't have anything. I can say that for pretty much everything we've watched. That there's like, oh, there's this aspect that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that for Gangsta.
Right.
There's nothing.
That one fight that didn't even get shown.
Yeah. It's like they kind of made things seem a little bit interesting at the beginning, and then they're like, nah.
Yeah.
And even in the way that they had their powers was just like, like the kind of like, what was it called? The I forgot what they were called.
Oh, the Twilights
or whatever. That could have been super dope. They would have went deeper into that concept, but they fucked up. Anyways, so we don't got Ice's. I think he'll probably give us in a group text if he's gonna even watch the 4.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he will.
Yeah. So go ahead, Brennan, drop your stuff.
You guys can find me on the gram at Mr. Producer Face, Mr. Producer Face.
Rob?
You can find me at RV Danger on Instagram.
You can find me at Keenan Baker on every single thing. And then also let us know your rating for these next 4 episodes.
I want to know.
Let us know in the comment section what your rating is. And let us know if you're enjoying it so far, man. And let us know what you think about this compared to Samurai Champloo, the 2 animes that are the guy created both of these or directed or created? Directed both of these. Let us know what y'all think about which one's better.
And if you guys know anything about My Hero Academia Vigilantes, slide in my DMs. Let's talk about it.
Let them know, man.
Give them all the spoilers.
And I will end you.
And follow Ice on everything, ice.mcgowan on all his social media stuff. And we thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of AnimeSHUN. See y'all next week.
Peace.
And so anime was solved forever.